Hola mi gente, yo soy Paulísima de Spring Spanish, and in today's video I'm going to show you 5 funny and embarrassing mistakes I hear Spanish students make all the time. I'm also going to show you what to say instead so you don't make a fool of yourself. Solo tengo una pregunta. Do you make these mistakes as well? Let's find out. Número 1. Are you really expecting a child? So, I went to the movies with a Canadian friend of mine. She speaks Spanish, and when she was throwing away some dirty napkins, she accidentally threw away also our tickets. So we have no tickets. And she goes to the security guard and says, "Disculpe, estoy embarazada, pero tiré los boletos a la basura. ¿Nos deja entrar, por favor?" Did you hear that? She said, "Disculpe, estoy embarazada." So of course I started laughing because she made this typical mistake. She wanted to say I'm embarrassed, which would be something like qué pena or qué vergüenza. But instead of saying that, she said estoy embarazada, which means I'm pregnant, which is of course nothing to be embarrassed about. The story doesn't stop here though. Well, you see, the guard was a woman too, and she was, like a little confused, but she was super cool about it, and she actually believed my friend was pregnant. So she said, sí, yo también cuando estaba embarazada me confundía y tiré algunas cosas por accidente. She really thought my friend was actually pregnant. Obviously, I couldn't stop laughing. For me, it was really funny. For my friend, maybe not so much. Long story short, to avoid embarrassment, if you want to say that you are embarrassed, don't say estoy embarazada. Say qué vergüenza, qué vergüenza. Or if you are in Mexico, you can also say qué pena, qué pena. Ay, qué pena, Dios mío. For a collection of more free Spanish chunks, please go to the link that you will find in the description. It leads you to our website where you will find the Essential Spanish Chunking Kit. Go ahead, dale click a la descripción, bájalo. Número 2. Is everything alright with your crutch? Your crutch? Let's say you're in your Spanish class and you are just learning nationalities. Let's say you are from, Manchester. And then you are reading, probably you're going to read from your textbook, and you want to say that you are English, but you're not paying attention to Spanish accent marks. And then instead of saying that you're English, you end up saying, soy inglés. Todos en tu clase se ríen, más tu maestro. And this is the thing, the word inglés, which means the groin area, and inglés are very similar. Actually, the only difference between them is that little accent mark that is on top of the letter E. So we don't say, if you are from England, you don't say you're English, you say you are inglés. Do you hear the difference? Soy inglés, not soy inglés, soy inglés. Remember that little accent mark indicates that vowel has to be stressed. The same thing happens in words like papa and papá. You see, like papa, it's potato. Papa, it's father. Actually, there's a third meaning for papa, but we never say papa. We say el papa, and that means the pope. So there is not that big of an issue here with papa and papa, right? Everybody will get it. But, not all of those words are harmless, like papa and papa. There are words that you don't want to ever get mixed, like, for example, mamá, which is mother, and mama. Mama and mama are very different. Mama, it means to suck. And it's also the proper term for the mammary glands. Can you see the endless possibilities for double meaning? Yeah, don't get them wrong. So, pay close attention to the way Spanish words are pronounced, and keep your ear open for phrases that keep popping up in conversations and that natives use all the time. These are chunks. Número 3. Don't say estoy caliente. I made a whole video about this one. See, in Spanish, if you're feeling the effects of heat, you say Tongue alert! You say, tengo calor. That's right, tengo calor. Literally, this means I have heat. But you see, if you translate I'm hot, like a direct translation from English into Spanish, you will say Estoy caliente, but then you are really saying that you're horny. The thing with this mistake is that, think about it. You're saying, I'm hot, and you probably say it in a situation where there's a lot of people, where it's crowded, you're probably wearing summer clothes, showing a little bit of skin, and then you go all of a sudden and say, I'm horny. You see how this can be funny for native speakers? Número 4. To be or not to be. Mixing up ser and estar. There is a huge difference between estoy aburrido and soy aburrido. Huge. It's actually super hilarious and cute when a Spanish learner makes this mistake and they say, like, ay, soy aburrido. Like, no, sweet pie, you're not boring. You're just not Mexican. The problem is that in Spanish, the verb to be, it's like split in two parts, ser and estar, and it can be terribly confusing to know when to use which. But we got your back because Mariana from Spring Spanish made a whole video about that. Check it out, it's quite good. Another one where mixing up ser and estar can cause trouble is in this phrase. Let's say you want to say that this woman is rich and you say, está rica. Está rica. If you wanted to say that somebody is rich, you have to use es, not estar. You would have to say es rica. Because if you say está rica, you're saying that that person is like yummy or McDreamy. You see, you don't want to say that, especially if you have a Mexican partner. No. Es rica. Are you liking this video so far? I hope you are. And if you are, now it's time for you to literally like it. Like it. Thank you. Número 5. Preservativos are not preservatives. We have some false friends again. Yeah, you see, in Spanish, a lot of people use the word preservativos for condoms. Let's say you're with your friends talking and you want to be like super cool and you say something like, yo prefiero consumir local, orgánico y sin preservativos. You want to say, I rather consume local, organic, and without preservatives, but you're really saying, I prefer to consume local, organic, and without condoms. And considering that Mexicans in general, they really like, to play with words, to have these albures, like play of words that are very charged with sexual innuendo. You can see how if you say, preservativos instead of conservadores, because that's what you want to say, you can end up being at the center of attention. Everybody will laugh a little bit about you, but all in good spirits. But listen, these are just a few of the mistakes that Spanish learners make. There are way more, of course, and I made a video about that. That's my next video, where I list the top 5 most common mistakes that are killing your Spanish game and making you sound like a gringo, which you don't want. So make sure you don't make these mistakes by clicking on the image that will appear on your screen, and I will see you there. This was Paulísima y fue un placer estar con ustedes. Hasta la próxima.